it's nothing for us to see women work now. There was a time when women didn't, and these opportunities weren't there as a collective for us. There are good things and bad things about it, but we knew back then that sometimes there was more to a woman than housework and chores. When your kids either provided you an empty nest, or they just went off to school, you could get accustomed to cleaning a house so you could feel idle all day. Or you were just the type of woman that never wanted children and preferred a different life. Those were few and far between back then. Or you were incapable of having children, and keeping the house would be a lot easier because you were infertile and couldn't. And it's also true that there were times when your husband could just beat you at will. So we'll just celebrate the little victories and say that that's not lawful anymore. If you see this article right here, right, it's just evidence of something that none of us want to discuss, and that is balancing career and family are not always an easy thing to do. This happened in Europe, okay? And so to give context, I believe she gave birth to the baby in the apartment, didn't want it, and just took the baby and dropped it from her apartment down to the street, where a person found the baby unalived with, I think, a fractured and crushed or a crushed skull. Perhaps she's just the type of person, because I read the article, that never wanted children. Perhaps, as the article states, career is more important. Well, July, I want to say second or third in her European country, she just got 7 years in prison for this. See, the issue in the West is that we think we can have both at the same time, and you always can't. I have a great respect for the fact that some people just don't want to be single mothers, but this is inexcusable. Surely in her country there are adoption agencies that would have taken this child. And look, I'm not here to criticize, because the article gave some aspects of the story and not a lot. Because by unaliving that baby that way, you and going to prison for 7 years, you've already ruined your career. But we're seeing more and more of this now, because I have questions more than anything. Did she know who the father was? Did she take the precautions for this not to happen? Did she ever research adoption agencies that could have taken this child? I found this story quite sad. This is more of a rant than anything, because we as women got to stop telling ourselves lies. And let me say this, because the United States, and I can only speak for us, is getting expensive. If you got to work, you got to work. These bills got to get paid. These babies got to get fed. Even your little fur babies all got to get fed. But since this happened in Europe, like the United States and Canada, are considered the West. Have we so not prioritized having a family that we want a career? Because wanting her career was not the issue. It was the unaliving of this baby that is. And the way in which she did it immediately after birth, which was likely in her apartment. To just throw the baby out on the street, or I think the sidewalk. This is gruesome. Before I go, because this is not much, this is more of a rant. much do you think Western society played into her decision? Because to me, sometimes trying to balance career and motherhood, whether you're a single mother or you're married, is tough. And look, I'm not giving her a pass for unaliving a child by throwing it out a window, because that's heartless. And of course, because they believe in high rates of recidivism in Europe, 7 years to them is nothing. But what are we doing in the West, really?